Hello student, in the previous video of the political science chapter first, what democracy, why democracy, we discussed the features of the democracy. In this video we will discuss which form of the government is best for a country, and for that firstly we will discuss the arguments against democracy. There is some arguments that going against in the democracy. Firstly, leaders keep changing in a democracy and this leads to instability. Means it also true that democracy leads to frequent changes in leadership, and sometimes when leaders understand the interest of the people he can change. And next, democracy is all about political competition and power play, and there is no scope for morality. Means to get the power, sometimes political leaders use the dirty tricks and unfair means to win and to gain the powers. So many peoples have to consulted in a democracy that it leads to delays. Means involving so many peoples in the decisions does lead to delay in the decision making. And elected leaders do not know the best interest of the people. It leads to bad decisions. And sometimes this can set back big decision and affect the government's efficiency also. Democracy leads to corruption, for it is based on electoral competition. Means to win the elections, sometimes unfair means are using to win the elections and to become the leaders. And ordinary people do not know what is good for them. They should not decide anything. Means democracy as a form of government only ensure that people take their own decision. But this doesn't guarantee that their decision will be good. But there is also some arguments that shows then which is a better form of the government than others. So here are the arguments for democracy that help us to decide which form of government is the best for the country. A democratic government is a better government because it is more accountable form of government. Let's clear with an example of the China. China's famine of 1958 to 61 was a worst record famine. Nearly 3 crore people died in this famine, and during those days, India's economic condition was not much better than China. Economics think that this was a result of different government policies in the two countries, so that the India did not have the famine of the kind China had. Because the existence of democracy in India made the Indian government respond to food scarcity in a way that the Chinese government didn't. They point out that no large-scale famine has ever taken place in an independent and democratic country. If China too had multi-party elections, an opposition party, and a press free to criticize the government, then so many people may not have died in the famines. A non-democratic government may and can respond to the people's need, but it all depends on the wishes of the people who rule. If the rulers do not want, they do not have to act according to the wishes of the people. So a democracy requires that the rulers have to attend to the needs of the people. So that's case we say that a democratic government is a better government because it is more accountable form of government. The next argument is democracy provide a method to deal with the differences and the conflicts. A democratic decisions always involve many persons, discussions and meeting. When a number of people put their head together, they are able to point out possible mistakes in any decision. And this take times, but there is a big advantage in taking time over important decision. And this reduces the chance of rash or irresponsible decision. Thus, democracy improves the quality of decision making too. Then democracy enhances the dignity of the citizen. Means democracy is based on the principle of the political equality and on recognizing that the poorest and the least educated has the same status as the rich and the educated. People are not subject of a ruler, they are the ruler themselves. Even when they may make mistakes, they are responsible for their conduct. So, democracy is better than other form of government because it allows us to correct its own mistakes. As we saw, there is no guarantee that a mistake cannot be made in democracy. No form of government can guarantee that. The advantage in a democracy is that such mistakes cannot be hidden for long. There is a space for public discussion on these mistakes and there is a room for correction. Either the ruler have to change their decision or the ruler can be changed, and this cannot be happen in a non-democratic government. So democracy is the best form of the government. And now, in the modern era, the broader meaning of the democracy is that modern democracy in involves a majority of people rule through their elected representative. Means modern democracy involves such a large number of people that it is a physical impossible for them to sit together and take a collective decisions. A democratic decision involves consultations with the consent of all those who are affected by that decision. Means even if they could, the citizens do not have the time, the desire, or the skill to take part in all the decisions. So democracy is a principle that can be applied to any sphere of the life. And this is a word distinguishing between the democracy form of the government. Other form of government like monarchy, dictatorship, or one-party rule do not require all citizens to take part in politics. In fact, most non-democratic governments would like citizens not to take part in politics. But democracy depends on active political participation by all the citizens. That is why the democracy must focus on the democratic politics. In this way, this chapters what democracy and why democracy is completed.